Well, it's been a wonderful weekend for us. I think when you see all the headlines and the acclaim they've had, you feel very proud of them. And I think I'm very pleased for the supporters. But the players have done fantastically well. No, somebody's beat you to it.
It was Chairman Martin Edwards. November 1986, and the difference between an autograph and a signature was of vast significance to Fergie. Leaving Aberdeen was a wrench.
When I came to the club, the priority was to win the championship. This was something that was a holy grail.
He's one of the best. He's got to be. All you've got to do is look at his record. I mean, he come here and we were on the fringe of things. We hadn't won anything for a few years, and he's turned it all around. And you look over the last four years, and there's maybe only Arsenal who stands up to compare against us.
It gives great satisfaction and great comfort to the people who worked so hard over these last few years that we were on the right way, and also that all the plans we did put in place have come to fruition.
Fergie was appointed on the same day Ron Atkinson was sacked. Atkinson's chief legacy was the man who turned out to be the cornerstone and inspiration of the dream team, Brian Robson. Fergie couldn't have wished for a better lieutenant.
Delightful touch, and Brian Robson in the right place at the right time.
This is a magnificent example of Brian Robson at his supreme best.
Robson. And Robson again getting it back from Stapleton. He's on his way. Can he find the shot? Brilliant goal!
Corner's aimed towards Bruce. Can't get there, and Brian Robson! Superbly struck!
In you go, son. Not only did you throw his legs in, he throws his whole body in. And he's still alive enough to nick it to one of his own players.
Augustin, Kane winning his private duel with Chamberlain, and it might have set something here with Whiteside freeing Robson, and the finish is exemplary. Now Duxbury, only Stapleton up with him. Duxbury prepared to go it alone. Stapleton acting as the decoy, and now Robson, still Robson. United finish in style.
Cantona. Nice turn from Robson, and the goal! The old maestro gives Manchester United the lead that they wanted.
Ron Atkinson had his players in, and they played open attacking football. Now Alex Ferguson come in, and he wanted quite a few of his own players in, but he did it in a gradual way where he brought players in and then he eased players out, and then he got a certain standard of discipline into the team, which he's always believed in.
The discipline and standards Fergie was slowly and surely beginning to instil at Old Trafford was mirrored by the attributes of one of football's finest ever captains.
Now Davis just playing it back for Robson! Princess Michael of Kent, and the cup goes back to the north.
The thing that's made Robson is his timing. You know, some people can turn up at the right time, at the right place at the right time, in life and anything. But you see two players going up for a ball and it's dropping. Robson will be the one at times the best. He'll be there as it's falling on the ground. When the ball's come off a goalkeeper's body in the box, it'll be Robson, it'll be there at the right time, you know?
If Robson wasn't in the side, United suffered through his lack of drive. Fergie, now wishing him well at Middlesbrough, realised one missing link shouldn't make such an almighty difference.
For about the last 15 years I've had it where you more or less know you're going to be playing out every week unless you have a disastrous run with your form. So the last couple of years has been quite odd, because after having 15 years of where you were an automatic choice, all of a sudden you're not.
Brian Robson carried the torch for our club for the 10 years he was at the club before we won the championship. Every false hope we had and every false dawn we had was all centred around Brian Robson being the club. He was the one who's always going to lead us to a championship.
Their league form had not been good enough for years. When Fergie took over, they were in a perilous state. United finished about halfway, having used 23 players.
At the end of that first season, and I said to the chairman, I think you need 8-9 players, really. And this is, bloody hell.
Midfield, Colmick stayed very much at the heart of it all. Now McGee, here's McClair, he's tossed it past Woods! Ryan McClair makes it 1-0 to Celtic.
Up until the signing of a certain Frenchman with a swaggering Gallic style and temperament, Fergie rated his first signing, Brian McClair of Celtic blood, as his best.
Alistair knocking it into McClair, the little touch for Giggs, he's away again, little ball in play there for McClair again! A goal for Manchester United, Brian McClair!
Out to Ryan Giggs, stepped away from Southgate as if he wasn't there. McClair, beautifully taken, what a good goal!
Ian Brightler, lost out to McClair, chance here for Brian McClair, they're closing in, but McClair is good enough.
McClair. Great ball. Kunchelskis. Will he finish? Yes. What a superb ball from Brian McClair.
3 the other way. Irwin. Ince. Giggs. Oh, lovely. Cantona. McClair. 2-1.
I suppose he could have chosen anyone provincially throughout Europe to come and play for United, and he picked me, and I've never forgotten that. And hopefully now, after 7 years, it paid him back.
All the things I'd heard about him, you know, matched up. He was a straightforward person, because he was a family man, intelligent, good character, and he's turned out what a fantastic signing for the club.
Gibson again, and it's there by McClair!
In his first season, McClair became the first United player since George Best to top 20 league goals in a season, although it's not been enough to preserve a striking role in subsequent years.
He's flitted about in several positions, and possibly now his best position is really centre midfield. I play him wide right, I played him wide left, I played him centre midfield, I've played him right side in centre midfield, I've played him up front, and he never complains and gets on with the job. I think that's his adaptability and unselfish attitude has been his hallmark.
In other words, McClair's a pro's pro. The manager takes merciless, good-humoured flack in the dressing room for the way he looks after his adopted son. McClair was ever present last season, but the arrival of Roy Keane has limited his appearances.
Finds McClair! Sealed it!
It's frustrating. I mean, nobody can know what it's like because they've never been in the position. I mean, it's very difficult for me to put into words how exactly it is. So, I mean, I'll just have to say frustrating would sum up at the moment.
It was 1989 when Ferguson truly revealed his ruthless streak. Players like Norman Whiteside, who couldn't live up to his own high standards of discipline, had to go. Paul McGrath was another. They weren't popular decisions with the fans.
A lot of the supporters were disappointed. A lot of them were angry. I remember getting countless letters about it. But at the end of the day, you stand and fall by your decisions. I think management's about decisions. I think it's about being positive about decisions. People recognise positive behaviour in managers. I think they look for it. And I think the players then sat up and says, well, he does mean business.
Steve Bruce was great business. Fergie signed a captain in the making, a constant and natural communicator.
The sort of... You better take that course. Yeah.
Hello. And that was genuinely the thumbs-up call for United, because Gary Pallister and Terry Butcher were proving hard to get.
It took a little bit of time though. The transfer haggled on a bit, but as I said at the time, I would have crawled here. And I think I was about 10th on the list. I think you got the knockback on about 10 occasions, so I'm delighted he did, obviously.
In the absence of Brian Robson, Bruce became his natural successor, captain reliable. His 2 late goals against Sheffield Wednesday the previous season summed up his resolute, never-say-die attitude.
He's got enthusiasm, he's got the leadership qualities, he's got the personality, he's got the manner in which to to handle himself in the right situations, and he wouldn't let the club down. To present himself for the club as a captain who has to at times, the same as Brian Robson, articulate and well-mannered, is ideal.
Smith. Oh, and the door shut there by Bruce. Bruce won't flinch at any of those, you can be sure.
That's a great block from Steve Bruce. That was an example of a defender dying for the cause. It was that.
Owen's corner. Bruce! Brilliant!
Cantona. Oh, and Bruce has collected yet another valuable goal.
Occasionally, and only occasionally, when there's a breakdown in communications, it usually involves goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel, a fiery character.
I think he thinks he's the first one to pick on. One day I'm really going to lose my temper and I'll probably regret it, I think.
I think Steve and me have the same temper. He needs to get himself like at the top level, going at the top level. He needs to shout as well, and he shouts back at me.
We've got to have an argument every morning, every game, maybe 2 or 3, and you can't believe they got on so well together, neighbours. They live next door to each other. God, I'd love to see them at dinner together. The wives must be driven mad.
Oh boy.
The search for the Holy Grail had to be inspired by Liverpool. So why not emulate the standard bearers, arch rivals or not?
Their strength obviously lay in buying the best players at the right time. We, in a similar way, have bought the best players we feel at the right time.
Mark Hughes is Manchester United through and through, a star pupil of the club's increasingly productive youth academy. He didn't really want to go to Barcelona in 1986, returning via Bayern Munich 2 years later.
When I came back, there was a lot more discipline in the club, and that was probably a good thing. And the atmosphere was a lot more professional, I felt, and it was geared to winning things really, and that was one of the main reasons I came back.
Hughes has struck up the type of rapport with United's fans that Dennis Law enjoyed in the 60s. Law was known as the King, Hughes is just Hughesy, but his goals are if by royal appointment.
Hughes with the bicycle kick, it's there!
Well, I think he embodies the spirit of the United, really his enthusiasm for it. He never stops trying, Mark Hughes. Good control. I think that as he gets older, he's learned the part of, and particularly since Cantona come about reading the line. He's always been an individual, Mark. I mean, individual goals have always been different. Not known for tap-ins, but known for his incredible volleys and games out of nothing, goals out of nothing. And another thing that always strikes me with Mark Hughes, he does well in the big games.
Hughes onside. There's a chance for another one here. Maybe not now. Yes, there is! A fantastic goal by Hughes.
Hughes. He'll try his luck. It's in! Hughes! Just when you need something from him most, Mark Hughes comes up with it.
Here's Hughes. It's a fine try, it's a fabulous goal for Manchester United.
Well, they might get up and celebrate here for Manchester United if Giggs can weave some magic. Dennis Irwin, wonderfully consistent last season, gets in the cross, missed by Linegan, back by Cantona, and volleyed in by Mark Hughes.
Alistair wins everything in the air. Ryan Giggs responding to the chants from the fans. Flick from Cantona to Hughes. Wow! What a goal!
It's only a minute to go. It's come to Lee Sharp. Milligan has to get the head on this. Beckford is needed. He wasn't there. It's hooked back in for Hughes. It's there!
His club nickname is Sparky. It could have something to do with having a short fuse. At times, this mild-mannered man from North Wales can't control his temper. Fergie's very philosophical about it.
Mark's such a quiet person. He comes in, he's last in, first out. Family life seems to be very, very important to Mark. This is why he's always spends a lot of time in Wales, and yet his personality in the football field. I always say you can't leave your character in the dressing room, you take it on the football field with you. But yet with Mark, it's two different personalities.
I think on the pitch, maybe I can express myself a little bit better than I can off the pitch, as you're finding out now. It's just one of the things. I mean, when you go out there and there's 40,000 there, and it does something to you as a player. Sometimes some players can hide from it. I just soak it up like a sponge, and I enjoy it.
The turning point, or the moment of truth if you like, was when United were knocked out of the FA Cup by Nottingham Forest in the 6th round in 1989. They just weren't up to it. With Fergie under fire, Gordon Strachan waved goodbye to Old Trafford.
The remainder of the season was about getting it over with and starting anew in the next season. Getting the players I wanted, changing the club round, get a fresh approach to it. Players who were young enough to accept a few challenges. And then, as I said, I just couldn't wait till the season was finished.
Gary Pallister got the taste of championship success at Middlesbrough. OK, it was down the divisions, but Fergie had spotted his potential.
I went to see him play against Rochdale for Middlesbrough. A typical Rochdale night. Peeing down in a League Cup tie, and I said, listen, there's a Hansen. I mean, he's big, tall, slim lad, and quick in his feet, and good pass of the ball, could head it.
They did put extra pressure on me because everybody was expecting great things from the start. The gaffer had completely rebuilt the team. There was about 4, 5, 6 signs that come in during the summer, and it was going to take a long time to for everything to gel, which it did. But obviously being the most expensive, obviously I was highlighted a bit more than the rest of the players.
He's unbelievable pace, you know. He's the quickest in the club, you know. When he gets going, those big legs, as he covers the ground all right. So you knew you had the raw material. What you had to do was bring all the parts together. And it was a physical one, no question about that. Even the stamina had to be built up and developed. And now you see, I think, in a couple of years' time, you'll see a really tremendous player.
I noticed Gary Pallister's round the ball. He hasn't scored this season, has he? I just wonder if they're saying, go on, big man, have a go.
The crown is there to be received. Yes, he has them! Oh! The crown and glory!
But watch this good defending from Gary Pallister. Doesn't commit himself, look at that, holds himself up, makes the tackle, and with a little bit of help with Paul Ince gets away with it.
Gary Pallister, who's as comfortable in possession as most midfield players up and down the country. Quite happy to take possession in this kind of area. And he's going to have a go this time. Well, he doesn't do that very often.
Pallister. A classy piece of defending.
He's had his fair share of corners, and he leaves this one for Kanchelskis on this occasion. A little bit of variety maybe. Pallister! Goal! Well, the variety paid off. Gary Pallister's first goal of the season. Up from the back. And heading home just at a time when United really wanted that opener.
Pallister and Steve Bruce have developed an awesome partnership, but alas for Steve.
It's like a graveyard here in International Week with all the different lads away playing for their countries.
Great honour for the club though, isn't it?
Yeah. Giggsy for Wales.
Dennis with the Irish.
Kanchelskis with Russia.
Schmeichel off with Denmark.
You off with England.
You go shopping with a wife.
They certainly have contrasting styles. Bruce's up-and-atom approach, Pallister appearing more casual. Nice and easy does it all the time.
Well, he reckons I could probably take a bet out onto the pitch. I look that laid back and that, you know. I think it's just the way, it's my style. People have different styles, you know. And that's mine. I look casual or whatever, but I can quite assure you I'm not.
An unquenchable thirst for success. But Fergie does have one concern about Pallister.
I went to a dinner and I says, if you want, I'll drive you and Chalky and I'll pick you up because we all live in Winslow, you know. So I went round. He said, come in, Gaffer, and you come. So I come into his lounge and there's this big, giant Coca-Cola bottle. This big thing. This big packet of crisps that size. And 4 Mars bars, man. I says, I thought I told you I'd fine you if I seen you bloody eating. And he's upstairs getting ready. I'm shouting up the... He says, they're not mine. They're not mine. I don't know who's left them there.
As a youngster with West Ham, Paul Ince had the reputation of being something of a wild child, but knocking a chip or two off someone's shoulders or polishing a rough-cut diamond has never worried Fergie.
He's certainly got great feet, he's quick, he's competitive, he's good in the air. All the parts were there, Paul, but not a consistent nature of his game was there. You understand? You couldn't actually see what kind of midfield player he was, but all the parts were there.
Ince's transfer was a complicated one. It eventually ended up as an instalment deal, but at one point it was off completely due to injury.
The boy was broken-hearted and we had to go and tell him, dear me. It was really, and his girlfriend she was very good. At his time, Claire, his wife, and she consoled him. And so Amber says, look, I can't believe this, he's never been injured.
Under Fergie's guiding influence, Ince has matured into the complete midfield player, to such an extent that he's captained England. The snarls had turned to smiles and Fergie had indeed produced a jewel for United and England.
Hughes, Bruce, United with a superb strike.
Still this furious, frenetic pace about it. And here's Sharp, getting onto his left foot, he can hit them from here. And into the net by Ince. Oh, what a goal that was! That was so clever from Ince. Nothing looked on until his bicycle kick. And United are ahead.
Because he's gone many, 2 I think this year. His first one at Cracker in the local derby, and this one all about improvisation, and that's a quite wonderful finish.
Ince in a good position, but how well found there. And he's gone to the right, away from the marker. Ince! Yes! That's it!
Maybe just now Manchester United are enjoying the difference. Instead of playing... Stopped by Paul Ince, the man that Ian Wright himself calls the governor.
Look at this for cheap from Paul Ince. Back heel, straight into Kanchelski's path.
Now a chance for United perhaps, and McCluskey didn't make it. Hughes! Oh, and in! It's in! And somewhere in there is Paul Ince, I think. The former West Ham player. What a story.
Everyone when they're 21, 19, obviously are going to have difficult times, are going to get in trouble and things like that. And I was no exception. It's just that I got highlighted a lot more than other people did because I played football and I was doing well at my career. And obviously now I've had a family, I've had a little boy, and you get older, you get wiser, don't you? And you get more mature, and it seems to calm me down a bit, yeah.
He's taking a great responsibility in looking after gigs, which is a good thing, you know. And Ince is not a bad man to have in your corner. Wife of young Ryan Giggs, not a bad man to have. I don't know how it started. All of a sudden, Ince has gone, right, Giggsy, come on. I think he's T-boy in the hotel rooms. Giggsy will argue about that, but it's a nice relationship.
We're roommates. Well, he's not much of a roommate, but we are roommates, and it's great for me. I'm great for him. We've got a great bond, we talk about things, and we've got a lot of things in common, and we spend a lot of time outside football together.
We've got the same sense of humour. He's still young at heart, really, even though he's getting on at 26. But no, he's been brilliant.
It has been said that you're actually taking him under your wing.
Yeah, I've settled him down a bit.
Sitting in here one day and I gave him pelters on the Saturday, but after the game, you know. The Monday morning I was sitting here right away and the door opened, this double barrel shotgun come through. What a fright, you know, a fright I got, see this gun coming through, and then the wee head says, don't you ever give me a stick again.
Having discussed a significant turning point, we reach crisis point, a disaster of a derby match, and the knives were being sharpened. Fergie was looking a worried man as the media honed in. Defeat in the FA Cup at Nottingham Forest in January 1990, they predicted, would mean the end.
I think what did it that day was defiance from the supporters. And the players responded to the supporters' promptings that day. Right from the word go, they were on song their support. They were not going to lose that game.
The new players started to gel that day, and the strain had visibly lifted from Fergie's face as United went on to Wembley and brought the FA Cup back to Manchester.
All the signs were that the boss had built himself a good team, and the FA Cup was, I think, just a little bit of confidence that they needed, because there'd been a few players at the club then for about 2 years and they hadn't won anything, and I think sometimes doubts comes into it then. But it materialised well.
I said at the time that they would definitely improve, the success would make them better. But I think maybe that I felt there was maybe 1 or 2 players off a league team.
Still in search of the Holy Grail, the pressure on United to win the championship for the first time since 1967 intensified. And so did the stories about Fergie's notorious temper.
I don't think there's anything wrong with losing your temper as long as it's the right reasons. I've always said that if I lose my temper for just for the sake of losing my temper, you know, I'd be worried about myself. But I think the bad performance, and there's always a reason to lose your temper with players. They can never accept bad performance, bad standards. And once I do say it's over, I don't then think about it the next day. I get it off my chest, and that's it, finished.
You do get some of the players scared of him. I think once you've been with him for so many years, the older players aren't particularly, but he frightens the young lads to death.
Dennis Irwin was part of the Oldham side which reached Wembley in the League Cup in 1990 and the semi-final of the FA Cup, and those thrilling games against United. A proven international as well with Jack Charlton's Republic of Ireland.
What a phenomenal player. Clever, resilient, quick, great balance, 2 magnificent feet, wonderful feet, good passing ability, good crosser. All the parts of his game are really good.
Well, fullback's fullback. I think I've got a half-decent left peg anyway, so I get away with it. It's basically the same job, right back, left back, just getting forward, support gigs, and that's it.
Keep ball, Martin. Come and get it if you want it.
There's the acceleration. Oh, this is absolutely fantastic. Dennis Irwin. The whole cup tie summed up in an instant.
It's Campbell, it's a chance for Arsenal. And Dennis Irwin missed the
Robson. And in it goes from Dennis Irwin.
Strachan with Irwin, who did very well, Irwin, to the back post. Kanchelski's arrived. What a
beautifully struck free kick. Look at the bend in the ball, you can see it. Look at the accuracy of it. It's a magnificent free kick from Dennis Irwin.
He's the best fullback in the game. There's no question about that.
And how much did he cost?
700,000. Honestly, I feel embarrassed when I say that. Joe's always phoned up and saying, "My Robert."
The Cup Winners' Cup of 1991 belongs to Manchester United.
Not everything United touched turned to silver. Victory in the 91 European Cup Winners' Cup was a huge consolation for losing out to Sheffield Wednesday in the League Cup a month earlier. Further consolation came with the emergence of Lee Sharp.
Pinching it back from Dixon. It's a beauty! It's raining goals at Highbury!
There are few left-sided players in the country who are good enough to lace his boots, but Lee Sharp started out cleaning them for Torquay's senior players, all in a day's work for a 16-year-old YTS lad. He'd just broken into the first team. In the crowd for only his 4th full game was Alex Ferguson.
I was welcome at 1 o'clock. The boss and Dave Turner come round the house, got me out of bed at 1 o'clock and said, "Hey, do you fancy signing for Manchester United?" I was just speechless. I couldn't believe it.
I was only 16 at the time, and I was in Torquay's first team, and I was just worried about coming to such a big club and just getting swallowed up and never getting a game. Before I signed, I came up for 2 days training, and when I got here, the reserves had played a game the day before, so they were all off. So I was sort of just knocking around with the first team, and I'm sort of stood there like thinking, "God, I've just been watching these on telly, and now I'm training with them." I couldn't believe it. So.
He made his debut in October of '88 as a left-back against West Ham. It was the brief era of Fergie's fledglings, and Sharp is the only survivor. A suitable word to describe him.
He's worked hard at his game. He's had a lot of bad luck. He's had injuries, strange injuries, and that illness, the meningitis thing, was a particularly worrying period for the boy and for us. And each time he's come through it, which tells you something about the character of the lad.
When I kept getting attacks and I was in hospital, in and out of hospital 4 times altogether, it was quite difficult.
But he's a bit like the Robbo thing, you know, he keeps coming back after every illness or injury and defying you, you know, and producing terrific moments in a game.
Mark Hughes, chance for Lee Sharp, it's his week! Lee Sharp, the flag has stayed down, they say he's onside. Lee Sharp now for Manchester United, and that has settled it.
Brian Robson. Webb has made a run to his left. Giggs ahead of him. McClare. Now Webb. Now Lee Sharp. Real chance. 1-0. He's back.
3 shirts in the centre. Oh, what a header! And what a goal! Lee Sharp is on fire at the moment. Pallister, Hughes, good touch. Ince, Sharp, goal! Brilliant! What a lovely move from Manchester United.
Martin, first time, good cross. Lee Sharp, and a goal out of the blue. Perfectly executed volley, lean back just enough.
He's almost like an American light heavyweight now. I mean, he's wonderful physique, and his pace has improved, and his passing was the area in which we worked hardest at him. His passing and his crossing was magnificent anyway. And he's a good goal scorer, he's a good finisher. He's breezing, he likes that attention, likes all the girls running about after him, things like that. But he's young. Eventually settle down, I hope. He'll get married quickly. One of our ground stewards, Harold Wood, came to me just not long after I'd arrived and says, Mr. Ferguson, you need help. He says, I've seen this young lad. And none of the scouts seem to have seen him. And I said, what's his name? He said, Ryan Wilson, which was his name at the time. I said, right, I'll get it checked out, thanks very much. And he came down with his father and saw him running on the pitch and at the cliff. And I says, God, that's a player.
I've been at Manchester City for, a few years at the Centre of Excellence, but I'd always supported Manchester United as a kid, so they were the right choice.
I mean, Bobby Charlton, when he used to say to me, well, if there's any games next week, or when's the kids playing, I said, well, we've got the schoolboy thing in a couple of weeks' time. He'd take a couple of days off to come down and watch Ryan. When we first saw him, he scored 4 out of 6. He won by 6 and he scored 4, Ryan. I says, bloody hell, who's that? I says, that's the young kid I was telling about, Ryan Wilson.
His debut came as a substitute against Everton less than 5 years after Fergie first saw him play. It was Christmas '86. He was 13 and there was a bright star in the sky.
He just seemed to float across the ground and such wonderful balance and electric pace and did everything so quickly. And courageous too, so brave, And he's one of the few players I've probably the only player I've ever had at that age that you get so excited about. I think he'll be one of the best players in the world in 5 years' time. But he has to achieve that kind of level because he has that potential to do that. Now, hopefully the potential will come into fruition, and we're talking about in 5 years' time the little bit extra you need to be, the presence and the acceptance of everything that happens in the football field, his tactical brain, his passing, all the final bits.
Giggs versus Poynton. Ryan Giggs! What a special goal that is! This is Giggs, and that's absolutely brilliant. And Ryan Giggs confirms his ever-growing reputation.
Giggs is away here.
This could be two. It is. Ryan Giggs and Manchester United are in the box seat in a big way here now.
This side are winning again. And they're winning by 2-0. A glorious goal from Ryan Giggs.
Twice received offers of £10 million for Giggs from AC Milan, but Fergie just scoffed at that. He also imposed a media ban determined to prevent other sorts of comparisons with George Best.
He's done brilliant, you know, with on and off the field. You know, if I've got a problem on the field, you know, he'll show me where I'm going wrong. And off the field, you know, he's shielded me from the press and just let me get on with football, which has worked out great.
The saviour of the boy's career, the way we've handled it.
Feel as strongly as that?
Absolutely. Can you imagine if we'd have let him in the hands of the media? What chance would he have? He'd have no time for playing football. All the magazines who want to do profiles on him, the television interviews he's supposed to want to do, all the commercial things. If we didn't control that, we'd have a spent player by he's 21. So the way we've done it has been absolutely correct.
In the summer of '91, Fergie was aware the team of his dreams required a better balance.
And Kanchelskis has got the pace to punish them on the counter-attack here.
Good technical player, and he was only 22. So we weren't really risking a lot. You always sell it back, you know. That was the way we looked at it. But he's done fantastic for us. I mean, it's a snip now, 650,000, crikey me. Well, there's a further payment, of course. It's taken up to about 900,000 as total. But we've had 3 tremendous seasons out of him.
Headed by Gale. Clearance by Donaghy. Bounced awkwardly, and here's Andrei Kanchelskis. He's got Mark Robbins in support. Still Kanchelskis. Oh, I say! What a beauty, and what a valuable goal for Manchester United. That'll take the heat off. Kanchelskis here is goal side of Wilson, and he's put it away in emphatic fashion. Giggs, Leclerc, lovely movement from United, and Kanchelskis here is one-on-one. He's got Cantona square, he goes alone, and he scores! Andrei Kanchelskis with a remarkable goal for Manchester United.
It's Kanchelskis now. Giggs to his left, so is Cantona. Can he pick one of them out? Should he pick one of them out? No, he shouldn't.
Kanchelskis. Hughes, will that work for him? Mark Hughes. Kanchelskis, 1-0 Manchester United.
Kanchelskis. He's in a hole he can move into to go for goal! How about that?
English football, it's athletic, very fast, very quickly. It's Europe, no. It's slowly in combination, passing. This and very quickly football. It's people. It's fantastic.
He's got a lot of help. He's needed a lot of help. But he's a lovely boy, you know, nice boy. Trains, fantastic trainer, wonderful trainer. And I think you see bit by bit how he's developed into our game.
Slightly disillusioned at the end of last season, Kanchelskis has just got better and better, even outshining Lee Sharp and Ryan Giggs in the run into the championship.
This season it's very happy and play every game play and right. It's last season it's no happy. It's you understand, no play me. It's one game play. 5-6 games at sit bench. That's no happy.
But we now realise that we're a far better team with Andrew on the right hand side. Not in any way a better player, but better balance. And it's fine things that we're at now, fine tuning with certain things. And Andrew's proved beyond doubt now that he's the right sided player for us.
There will come a time when I have to make the decision about who I should play. And don't ask me because I don't know.
Even Hans Christian Andersen could not have scripted a better fairy tale than Denmark's triumph in the 1992 European Championship. From the land of children's fantasy and fiction came Peter Schmeichel, who was simply invincible.
And really probably the most popular man in the whole, dare I say, the whole of Denmark at the moment, Peter Schmeichel.
I was a very wild goalkeeper. I was going for
everything, all crosses, everything. I was really an uncontrolled goalkeeper at that time.
And he is who he is. But once you take away all the emotions, you can boil it down to one simple factor. The lad's the winner. And then there's no question with that.
Barlow makes a run. Finds Barlow. Good pace from Barlow. Oh, Schmeichel again. There's no way past him. What do you have to do to beat Peter Schmeichel?
It's an inviting ball from McGoldrick. It was a great pass. McGoldrick weaving a spell of his own. Oh, Roger. Brilliant save. That has to be one of the saves of the season from Peter Schmeichel, who could scarcely have seen the ball, but somehow stuck up an arm to prevent it crossing the line.
Bardsley. Ferdinand with some space. It's fallen for Barker. Here's Ferdinand. Good save. Wow, he got hold of that, didn't he? Just as Peter Schmeichel, who made an excellent stop.
Now Quinn, Edgehill to the right. White wants it slipped through, just like that. And Schmeichel has emulated Toten's heroics.
There was the first save, which knocked it out to Polston coming in. Look how he's poised. Blocks it as it's aimed straight for his nose.
Marsh takes it. The ball is in there. Oh, and that is a fantastic save by Schmeichel.
Problems for United here. Redknapp and Schmeichel somehow stretched to keep it out.
3 on 3. Fergie may choose to go alone. He likes to get the ball on his left foot and cut inside. Well, he goes to his right, and on his left again, and finds Barlow. Brilliant save from Schmeichel. Cotti goes in. Schmeichel comes again, makes another save, and there's no way past the big blonde giant.
He's positive. If he comes for something, he'll come for it. If he doesn't, he'll stay back. He's quick across the ground. He covers his goal fantastically well. Massive frame. His distribution is wonderful. These are all parts that make the makeup of a goalkeeper. He's got fantastic hands.
When Schmeichel gets it into his head to do something, he just does it, whether it be instinctive or premeditated. He's a goalkeeper who, if he feels it necessary, goes upfield for set pieces.
I've actually scored once and saved the team I played for from relegation. I had a very, very poor game that game. I was like putting 2 goals behind me through my legs. I've had a very poor game, and we were 2-1 down at the last minute. I went up for a free kick, and the goalkeeper, who was like 2 inches higher than me, he came out for the ball and he shouted, "Oh, like keeper," and I heard that. I came in just in front of him and scored 2-2. But that's the only time, and it's something like 13 years ago. So I think I'm due a goal now.
Pace is one of the most necessary requirements in the modern game, and Paul Parker is blessed with more than most. He's versatile too, although Fergie was mildly concerned Queen's Park Rangers were using him in a central role. But his fullback performances for England convinced the manager. And this panoramic view of Old Trafford went some way in convincing Parker to sign for United.
We're going out to the pitch on a Saturday afternoon in the middle of the summer, or, it was the middle of the summer, just before our season started really. And there's about 2,000 people sitting in the stadium, all around the place. And he couldn't believe it. He says, "What are they doing there?" I says, "They do that every summer. Just come and sit and watch the grass grow." So a few of them started shouting, "Hope you're signed for us, Paul." And he went up, he says, "Yeah, that made his mind up."
I couldn't believe it when I come in. I think there was, I must say, about at least 1,000 people just actually sitting there watching it. But I mean, I talked to Arsenal and Spurs before I come here. And actually, at the time Terry Venom was manager at Spurs, and he knew I was coming up here, and he begged me not to come up because he knew I wouldn't come back then. And I mean, as soon as I got here, regardless of anything, it could have been 2 pence a week, I would still come here. I mean, I'm not one of those flamboyant ones. I mean, my asset is the fact that I'm reasonably quick, and I can tackle. And if I weren't doing either one of them, I don't think I'd be any use to the side. So, but at the end of the day, I've got good players, like Sparky, Giggsy, Eric, who can all do unbelievable things with football. So let them do it really. If it comes to tackling or anything, then I mean that's my main thing really.
Now McGoldrick. Mercy's jogged into the centre. Wright taking on Pallister and beating him. Can he find Merson here? He does. But this time it's Paul Parker on the spot.
Now that is great defending. First of all, it's superb skill. He leaves Gary Pallister standing. But watch this for a defensive tackle. Absolutely superb from Paul Parker.
He's like a dog with a bone, Paul Parker. He wouldn't let go.
Parker. No way back. Oh, great skill. Beautiful football from the fullback there.
And they're going forward in a long line again, the red shirts. 5 of them up. Cantona in. 58 minutes gone. Great little ball from McClair that put Parker in. And a good finish.
Who was on the phone? Oh, Mr. Busby. Mr. Busby. You tried the one the phone in his private phone going down it was last year. He says, I'm somebody's for the such and such a newspaper. I write an interview with Ryan Giggs. So right away I says, how did you get his phone? How did you get his number? Oh, I've got it somewhere. I don't know who gave me it. I says, you have no chance of getting an interview. Why not, he says. You know, and he starts. I twigged right away. I just twigged at it. Now I'm ready to explode down the phone to this guy. I turned around and I saw him on the phone. I says, hold on a minute. And I whacked him in the back of the head. He's never off the phone. It's a disease.
United, though, were still not good enough to win the title. Leeds pipped them in '92, although if the truth be told, United blew it. Leeds had taken a gamble by signing and playing the French international Eric Cantona, who added a fresh dimension. As United fumbled, Cantona and co. just kept on winning. Perhaps the main difference between the year of the jitters and the last 2 exhilarating championships, and it was all down to a fluke of a phone call.
During the conversation we got out to talking, we threw in Cantona and they says, well, we need to think about that one and things like that.
How long's he been in your mind though? Not just during that phone conversation, presumably.
Well, yeah, just more or less that.
Really, like that?
Yeah.
And what, did you decide there and then?
Yeah.
He is tailor-made for Manchester United. He stretches the imagination of our supporters, which is quite vivid anyway. It was a vital ingredient for us.
Howard Wilkinson still defends his decision to sell Cantona, although the reasoning has never become totally clear. Cantona fueling the controversy in his recent autobiography.
After he signed, and there was obviously a lot of stuff coming out of Leeds that were a bit disturbing, you know, that, and I said to myself, well, I'm not going to get myself involved in any of that, you know. I'm going to treat him as I would treat any other player.
Has he ever been a problem at all?
Not a bit, not one bit.
The Cantona story is an incredible one. In less than 3 years in English football, he's won 3 championship medals. He's the current Players' Player of the Year and United's top scorer.
He's different, but he's special. And he's a wonderful range of his game. His passing, his awareness, he's good in the air, tremendous in the air, you know. His goal scoring, his creating of goals. But he's a marvellous quick brain, which will always give him the edge in players. Tremendous balance, which the great players always have. He's brave. He's got everything a player needs. He's probably the best player I've ever had, you know, in terms of his all-round game. Phenomenal.
It's losing out on the edge, and Southampton can bring it away again, but it breaks down. Cantona! Oh my goodness! Magnificent from the Frenchman.
Well, it's just teed up for Cantona. Goal! A real cracker from Cantona.
Good running by Keane, and he's got away from Kilberg. Karine improvising. Cantona with the keeper out of his goal. Oh, it's hit the bar! Fantastic! Oh. Who needs Pele?
Cantona back helping on the edge of his own box. Sharp. Giggs. Cantona. He was on the edge of his own box a second ago, and now he's on the edge of the Sheffield United box. And he scored! Oh, superbly done!
Then, of course, there's the dark side, the demons which lie within. Seemingly losing control as United's European dream ended ignominiously in Turkey. Shown the red card and showing the uncontrollable nature of his temperament. Conduct unbecoming for such a genius. Fergie puts it into perspective.
It's in his nature. He's got a little bit of the devil in him at times. The great players have to have it. The best, the Laws, they had it, didn't they? Forwards in particular have the devil in them.
I think it's almost a necessary evil to have that.
I think it's a thing, the courage you need, and having courage normally means of a certain type of aggression to have the courage, you know, that's just to be shown, because they're competing against players who are trying to stop them from playing.
The search for the Holy Grail finally ended in '93. Manchester United clinched the championship in a style the late great Sir Matt Busby thoroughly approved of.
Winning the championship was not the end for Manchester United's players who did that, achieved that. The drive has been even more intensified this season.
Roy Keane's natural ability and stamina was nurtured and encouraged by a man whose footballing principles are on similar lines to Fergie's, the irrepressible Brian Clough. Keane was a member of the Nottingham Forest side beaten by United at Wembley in the League Cup. United's interest, already established, was enhanced.
I really like the smaller clubs, you know, the first division clubs, second division clubs, just for a trial. As I said, it didn't work out, and I was at home for another couple of years. And luckily enough, Forest came in for me, and you know, the rest was. I couldn't believe everything that happened to me in the next couple of years.
You get one of them coming along not in a lifetime, but maybe every 10 years, that you just say, well, we're not losing him. Because every time he played against us, or every time I saw him, he was such a competitive lad, you know, and unbelievable engine up and down the field. So you knew that he was a Manchester United player, just looking at him.
Brian Clough knew he was a player of great pedigree in the making after just one A-team game. The following week, Cloughie promoted him to the firsts. But after his retirement, following Forest relegation, Fergie made his move to make Keane English football's costliest player. At least, that's how it turned out.
We were talking possibly around about the 3-2 area, 3-2, maybe 3-3, same as Alan Shearer. And then their chairman came out with it. The first team to give us $5 million can get him. Thank goodness the chairman was on holiday that week.
Obviously the boys gave me a bit of stick over it, you know, saying how much you worked and if I made a mistake in the game or in training. But that's just part and parcel of the game. You know, the players here are worth more than me. It's just the fact that I moved club. You know, if you talk to Giggsy, Eric, if any of them moved, they would be way more than me.
He's a very good passer of the ball. He doesn't give it away. He's tremendous there. He's got great engine. He's got great speed going forward. But he's been a tremendous acquisition for us, no question about it. I'm really honestly delighted at getting him.
Great ball from Parker. A bit too much height on that cross from Kanchelskis. For Hughes is like it. Falls to Keane. Oh! He's arrived.
Ince with the challenge. Here's Hughes. Cantona. Might have threaded it through quickly into the path of Hughes. Kilcline couldn't cut it out. Here's Roy Keane, and that's number one. Comes to Keane, who scores?
Cantona out on the left flank. That's looking for Kanchelskis on the right. Keane, goal!
Sharp, delightfully delivered for Owen. It's Hughes, and coming in behind him was Roy Keane.
As far as the dream team's concerned, Fergie described him as the final piece of the jigsaw, partnering Paul Ince and being aware for most of the season that Brian Robson was only a substitution away.
He's just a great example for all the players to follow. You know, you can just see him around the dressing rooms, and as I said, he's still as good. You know, he's still a great player.
Fergie has always believed in stiff competition and being selective in replacing top quality players like Brian Robson. The latest addition to the dream team is David May from Blackburn. What's more, he's English and a vital requirement for the next major quest.
Now we've won the Premier League and we've got another opportunity
to have a crack at the European Cup. It will be the ultimate test for us now.
Only the 6th ever double-winning team. Fergie's thoughts turn to Sir Matt, manager of the original dream team, the Busby Babes.
It's always ironic, and he wasn't here to see it. It's a pity that, but his family were there, and I think they were very proud on Saturday night. At the reception after the game, they were really pleased, and I think Sir Matt would have been really proud of the players.
The whole squad's been together now for through thick and thin for the last 4 or 5 years. We've added 1 or 2 to the squad, obviously, what you have to do. But the majority have been here for a few years, know what it's all about now. And hopefully they'll remain that way, and we'll remain all together and see what we just can achieve.
I think that obviously to win a European Cup would be, without question, the absolute pinnacle of my life. And